Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah, more or less.
I keep coming back and forth again.
Right. Sweet thing again.
Hello, hello, hello. Anything? No. Chris, say something. Talk.
Hello. Nothing.
Hello? Yeah? This is on now, check. Yeah.
Anything? Anything at all?
Okay.
And now please welcome his opponent to the ring. He
Still
comes
nothing.
from right here in Manchester. It's Marvin Black Mamba Tomlinson. Ladies and gentlemen, Manchester Mayhem The Takeover is brought to you by Pat Barrett of Black Flash Promotions, and this contest is 4 3-minute rounds sanctioned in the Cruiserweight division. Your officials for the contest, timekeeper is Chris Hancock, and your referee in charge of the action, A-star referee John Latham. And now it's time to meet the boxers. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner wearing the black shorts, weighing in at 179.4 pounds, a veteran of the ring with 110 professional contests. He comes to us from London by way of Italy. It's Victor Edaga. And his opponent across the ring fights out of the red corner wearing the white shorts. He weighed in at 188.4 pounds. He is unbeaten as a professional, 1 win with no losses. And he fights out of right here in Manchester. It's Marvin Black Mamba Tomlinson.
Right, lads, you expect from you both, you obey the instructions at all times. When I tell you to break, you both break and defend yourselves at all times. And the best luck to you both. Touch gloves.
Welcome to Middleton Arena for the latest Black Flash Promotions event. We go back to where it all started for Black Flash years and years ago. Pat Barrett launched his first ever show. Since then, we've had stars like Zelfa Barrett, Lyndon Arthur, Shabazz Massoud, you name them, have boxed on Black Flash shows in this very arena, and now we're back. Tonight we've got Marvin Tomlinson starting the action against Victor Edaga, and then we'll run through the rest of the show when we get time. First person next to me tonight, we're going to have a rotating guest box on the commentary team. We've got Milan Fearon. You'll remember Milan from star appearances last year on Black Flash shows. How are you, Milan?
I'm good, thank you. It's good to be back.
It is good to be back. First Black Flash promotion show of the year, and Marvin Tomlinson's second fight in a year. Trains with Lee Beard over there at Hatton's Gym in Hyde. And Victor Edaga, who we know very, very well from these shows. Couple of surprise victories last year. Victor tends to be very negative and then explode
Throughout the fight.
Yeah, whenever the mood takes him, Victor just lets his hands go. Nice little right uppercut there from Marvin. But Victor making it as messy as he can, so we'll just have a quick run through of what else you've got to look forward to tonight. We have lost one fight, but it's been replaced. So we've got Jack Swallow coming up, he's fighting Paul Cummings. We've got Josh Paladino fighting Casey Granom. Courtney Wallace's fight, I'm sorry if you're tuning in to see Courtney, his fight with Owen Durnan's fallen by the wayside. We've got Niall Brown against Patrick Fiala, and then George Colleen topping the bill against Jordan Granom. We've also got the debut of May Eastbury who I know has been very popular.
Yeah, it's always good to have a debut on the card, isn't it, John?
It is. Anyway, back to the action here. Marvin making all the running, Marvin Tomlinson, just backing Adaga around the ring. Just very difficult to land cleanly on Victor Adaga.
Was that a slip, that, John?
Yeah.
Or
Like a delayed reaction, wasn't
Yeah,
it? I
yeah.
thought a right hand landed, but and Adaga sort of looked for the floor.
nice punch there from Tomlinson.
Commentator's curse, just when I said it's impossible to land a hard shot on Victor, Marvin landed two.
It's always the way, isn't it, John? A grab of the leg.
Single leg takedown.
Nice little combination there. And a good overhand
Yeah,
to come back
Adaga's
from
up-
that.
Adaga's up to all his old tricks here, isn't he?
Yeah.
Mauling, clinching, moving, making it negative, making it messy. But Marvin Tomlinson's doing a pretty good job so far. There we go, first round in the books. Couple of little technical issues today, so just a couple of little teething problems there in the first round, but we're all up and running now. So good first round in the bank there for Marvin Tomlinson. Here we go, don't forget you can send your comments in on the chat. Any questions you've got, any comments you've got, any thoughts, show your support for the fighters, send them in, we'll read them out. Good to get some interaction going on these shows.
10 seconds, corners.
Who are you looking forward to tonight, Milan? Got a-
Tonight,
Seconds out.
I'm going to have to go with Niall. It's been a while
Round
since he's been on a
two.
Black Flash promotion show. He's been on the TV and whatnot, and so he's back on one of our shows, so it's going to be good to see, yeah.
Yeah, he's been living the high life, Niall, but getting back to the grassroots tonight just to stay busy. He'll be coming up later against Patrick Fiala, but back to the action here with Marvin Tomlinson against Victor Adaga. From Manchester, Marvin boxed once last year, fought Daryl Sharp and been inactive since, but getting back in the ring tonight. There's that overhand right we were talking about from
Yeah,
Adaga
he's
in
got
the opening rounds.
some lethal overhands.
So dangerous. The guys Victor fights are very inexperienced, and if they just switch off for a split second, then that overhand right can cause them real problems. Dangerous, dangerous opponent to be in with. Marvin's just got to keep his cool though, keep his shape, keep his composure. He doesn't exactly hide what he's doing, Victor Adaga, does he?
No.
But some
A bit of blood there.
yeah, a little bit of blood on Victor Adaga's forehead. Looks like it's come from a clash of heads.
Just got to keep it, like you said, an eye out for them overhands, because they're coming in fast and hard.
Yeah. Just Adaga's only weapon, really, but he throws it at such unusual angles and such unusual times that it makes it difficult to defend.
Yeah.
Nice little flurry from Tomlinson there. Uppercut, body shot landing as well. And Adaga's not really showing much ambition to get out the way. Nice right hand from Tomlinson, and the towel comes in.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, but towel
Yeah.
came in.
I completely agree with that.
I completely
Yeah,
agree.
completely
Victor Adaga
agree with
wasn't
that.
really there tonight, was he?
No,
He wasn't
no.
himself. He was swinging in the punches, but just didn't look like he wanted to be there. He touched down on the canvas 4 or 5 times.
Yeah. One of those being in the first round as well, I think it was. So, yeah, I mean, nice win there for Tomlinson.
Yeah, nice win. Adaga's like an unusual, sort of awkward opponent, and Tomlinson dealt with it as best he could. Good win there for Team Lee Beard's a good trainer. Only takes on fighters he really thinks he can improve. And Tomlinson dealt with that really well. So, yeah, 2-0 Marvin Tomlinson. First stoppage win, and he'll be very pleased. We'll go. There we go. We'll
Well,
go over
ladies
to
and gentlemen, how about a hand for both boxers? Your referee, John Latham, stops this contest. Official time is 2 minutes and 19 of round number 2. Therefore, your winner by TKO from Manchester, Marvin the Black Mamba Tomlinson.
There we go. First fight of the night in the books. As I said, we've got a couple of little technical issues here where earphones aren't working, so we can't hear each other talking, so just bear with us if we lose track a little bit. But Marvin Tomlinson, first fight of the night in the books there. Nice stoppage win over Victor Adaga, who can be a bit of a danger man, so he'll be pleased with that. Things are going to move really quickly tonight. I think we've got a little bit of half-time entertainment for you.
Yeah.
We've got a singer going to be performing a few songs halfway through the event, so stick with us. And joining us on the third seat on the commentary team is Rizad Levicki. How are you doing, Rizad?
I'm great, thank you. How are you, mate?
Really good. You were just saying you've never boxed in this venue. You've boxed on a lot of Black Flash shows, but you've never made it to this place. What do you think of it, Riz?
No. So, for anybody listening, you might know me as Riz. I'm one of Pat's boxers. And this place is amazing, yeah. The capacity is not the biggest, so it doesn't hold thousands of people, but with it being an auditorium, it just creates an atmosphere. The sound just echoes so well. I'd love to box in here. I mean, we're sat here now, literally level to the ring. It feels like I'm inside a ring. I'm nervous and excited for the lads boxing later on, and I feel like I'm going to box myself tonight.
I want to ask you a question, Riz. Last year you boxed for the English super middleweight title against Reece Farnhill. We saw Reece Farnhill fighting last night in a real war with Mark Dickinson. The fact that your fight was so close with Reece, and then Reece pushed Dickinson all the way last night, I know you're obviously disappointed to lose to Reece, but it shows you in that mix, doesn't it? You're not far away at all.
No, I mean, for anybody listening, you're welcome to watch the fight. It's on YouTube somewhere. The verdict in the end was very controversial. 3 judges all scored it 7-6. It's a 10-round fight. That's 13 points between the two of us, so it just shows you how competitive it was. And for me, that wasn't the best me, so I was pushing for the rematch for 2 or 3 months, 4 months even coming up. I was messaging him, Reece that is, trying to push for the rematch, but eventually he managed to secure himself a good fight with Mark Dickinson last night, which unfortunately didn't go his way. But even though I've received a little bit of a setback, I'll be back with my title fight. It'll be the Central Area title fight in July. I'll have one more fight before then, May 31st, I think. And then I'm ready to challenge anybody who's up there, Mark Dickinson included, Reece Farnhill. I'll have that rematch any day. I'll have it tonight, tomorrow. I'm ready. We're training all year round, so I'm always ready for that.
Yeah, I was going to say, Riz, when you come through your Central Area title fight, would your priority be to settle the score there with Reece? Or would you just put that down to one of those things and look to go above and beyond there? Like, what would your ambitions be?
Well, of course, as a fighter, I would love to go back, revisit that one, and put it straight on my record. But as we've always said, and I've grown in, I've developed and grown and lived boxing for so many years. We've always said records are for DJs. Ultimately, it's who you are and what kind of fighter you are. Of course, I would love for my record to reflect my quality inside the ring, and one day it will do. At the moment, I've had zero luck, and I take full accountability. I understand that I have to create my own look. So I'm just training harder than ever, focusing on my mistakes. So no matter whether it's a controversial decision, whether it's right, whether it's wrong, at the end of the day, on a piece of paper, it was a split decision loss, and I will be working harder than ever to get that back. That's why I titled my fight in July, Resurrection, because I'm resurrecting my career. I'm giving it a new life. We have a plan, and we're doing everything we can to make that plan a reality.
Just having a look through this card tonight, Riz. Obviously, a couple of your gym mates, probably people you've sparred hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of rounds with. What can the people at home expect from George Killeen and Niall Brown tonight?
All I'm going to say is just watch, because these lads, these two prospects are hot, and they are coming in meaning business. We train so hard every single day, and I wish more of the public could experience that with us. We train every single day, twice a day, and you guys only get to see the fireworks on the night, and today you will see what it means to really dedicate to your craft, because these two lads, George Killeen and Niall Brown, are coming to steal the show. And I know George Killeen is the main event tonight, but these two will be competing for that spot because they're both extremely exciting fighters.
Yeah. Both of them look like they've got big futures ahead. Niall in particular, he's been fighting on the Wasserman shows, getting a little bit of national exposure, so I'm pleased we've got him back because Niall's always good to watch. But George is just going around things slow, correctly, isn't he? He's just ticking away, picking up experiences, chipping away, beating the people he's supposed to beat, and just building up experience. George will be ready for those area title fights soon.
See, what you have to consider is the age difference between the two as well. Niall is a little bit older, so he's more advanced in his career. He's getting pushed on a little bit faster. George is only 21, so he's able to take his time a little bit longer, develop himself in the right ways. Because you don't develop on fight night per se. You know, it's all the camps, it's all the rounds done in the gym, on the bags, under that watchful eye of Pat Barrett. That's where we develop, and the fight nights are just an opportunity for us to show what we're working on. I think both those lads have a very, very bright future. Niall will obviously be on bigger stages a little bit sooner as he is a little bit older, but you can count on George Killeen catching up very, very soon.
Yeah, I got a few well-known faces here. There generally is at Black Flash. We do tend to get a lot of people coming watching. We've got, just glancing around now, can see the English light heavyweight champion Troy Jones. I know he's been spending some time sparring at Collyhurst recently, hasn't he? International Boxing Hall of Famer Buddy McGirt sat just over to our right-hand side. I don't think we'll ask Buddy to jump on the commentary.
No, I might just go and ask him for an autograph.
Yeah, get a photograph and an autograph. But yeah, there's always like, of all the small hall shows, Black Flash do tend to create a good atmosphere, don't they, Riz?
Yeah, I think Pat's name carries a certain weight in the boxing community, and if you're a casual fan, maybe that doesn't touch you so much, but when you meet Pat, you understand the seriousness, the knowledge of the sport, the love for this game, and obviously that love attracts people who feel the same way, like Buddy McGirt right there, and like you said, there's people in the crowd that are here to watch the show, because even though it's not necessarily a big TV show, this show is so entertaining and the fights are real.
They are. We'll let our MC Aki introduce the debutant.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome her opponent making her professional debut from Northwich, Cheshire, Asprey.
And here we go, we got the professional debut of May Asprey. Another female fighter looking to make waves. Had over 20 amateur fights. Nice and skillful, and has decided to make the plunge into professional boxing. She's fighting the experienced Argentinian Antonella Molina, who's had 29 fights, so a vast golden experience, but I know Asprey thinks that she's ready, and it'd be interesting to see what she's got, Riz.
What an exciting night for her this must be. A professional debut only happens once, so I hope she enjoys it, puts on a show and steals it, wins it. Let's see it.
About to get the professional debut of May Asprey underway. What do you remember about your professional debut, Riz?
Do you know, it's a funny story actually. I ended up having two because I had one for Queensbury, which for whatever reason is not on BoxRec, and then I ended up having another in the UK. So my official, that is started very quickly.
No messing about from May Asprey.
No. I was just about to talk about myself there, but the ladies in the ring are really putting on some action.
Yeah, nice little quick jab, and she followed it in, didn't she, and let her hands go.
Yeah.
Getting those nerves out of the way straight away.
See, you know, when you're inside the ring, you don't think about pain, but see now here, those shots look like they sting, especially when they snap the head back.
Yeah, she's initial impressions here of May. She's got fast hands, straight punches, aggressive.
I'll be very interested to see what she boxes like once she gets past the initial nerves, especially with it being her debut. Once she calms down a little bit, see if she's defensively sound, see what her footwork's like. We'll see what she's got really. At the moment, she's got very fast hands and she's punching very hard.
Yeah, adrenaline.
Yeah, that's
exactly. A trick you only see experienced fighters using there. Antonella just dropped a guard as she came away from the clinch, and she got a nice little right hand from it. But it's been Asprey making all the running so far. Molina well out of range, isn't she? She's either too close or too far, just can't get a time in, and May's just being able to hold the centre of the ring and just set the tempo at the moment.
She seems to have quite a nice rhythm, but her feet seem a little bit stuck in the mud. So she's not really evading as many punches as she'd probably like. I'd like to see them feet just step back a little bit more.
Well, first round in the bank there. She'll sit down in a stool, take a good deep breath. And her first round as a professional's in the books.
Yeah. If this carries on, she'll have a very exciting night tonight celebrating. That was a very good round from her. You could see her settling down a little bit towards the end of the round. But like I said, her opponent's feet are a little bit stuck in the mud, so if she could manipulate the distance a little bit more, she'll find a lot more success landing punches against her opponent.
Yeah, the straight punches were working, but Molina herself, experienced girl, only been stopped once in her 23 losses, so clearly knows how to look after herself and take the sting from these debutants and girls who are early in their career. So knows plenty of tricks, Melina. But it's just about getting rounds under her belt for Asprey tonight, isn't it? Asprey.
Well, I remember when I started my career, I was very keen on getting late stoppages. That's what I wanted. I didn't want to go out there and blast my opponent out in 30 seconds, not learn anything. I wanted to go through the rounds and potentially get to the last round if the opponent was good enough, then get a stoppage. Obviously, it doesn't always go that way. Boxing's unpredictable, as everybody watching knows, but you know, that's always the plan. So the rounds, if she can bank some rounds tonight, that would be very good for her, especially with this being her debut.
Asprey just been fighting Melina's fight there at the start of the round, just getting into trading short hooks and trading power shots. She doesn't need to do that, does she, Reece? You know, she's got faster hands, she's a better boxer. The straight punches were working early. Asprey's just got to, like you said, just get those feet moving in and out and just keep everything simple and straight.
Yeah, exactly like that, and she needs to stay defensively sound, because there's a couple looping shots that are coming round. They haven't really been the most successful, like that one there. Haven't really been the most successful, but they do land every now and then, and it only takes one in boxing, so she needs to stay switched on.
Just been clipped around the top of the head by a couple of right hands and left hooks, Asprey. Just getting a little bit less. There's another right hand.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about, the looping shots.
Yeah, bit of a scrappier round this one from Asprey. Just got away from the game plan a little bit in patches. It is a weapon, isn't it, that overhand right raise, and Asprey's, so far she's not quite worked out how to take it away from Melina.
Yeah, Melina seems to be landing more and more, so I think Asprey just needs to really go back to her foundations, find that jab again, find that footwork, and just stay away from these big looping shots.
It's the end of the second round. So Milan Fearon, we've got female boxing here. I know you're involved in boxing now as part of your job. See you hitting pads, I see you holding pads. What do you think about, you know, when you see these female boxers? Does it inspire you?
Yeah, most definitely. It's good to see. You know, boxing is just one of them sports. You know, you go back a good few years, and you know, compared to what it is now, female boxing's going up there. So, you know, it's good to see. It's good to be part of.
It's a sport that grabs you, isn't it, Milan? Once you start getting involved with boxing, you can't leave it. Because I can't imagine when you were at school, you thought your life and job would be involved in boxing.
Not at
and
all,
all of a sudden it is.
It's like a rabbit hole, isn't it? It's just one of them. As soon as you're there, it's never ending. So
and you enjoy it, don't you?
Love it. Gotta love it. How could you not?
Have a look on Milan's social media. We'll send it over later and look at the pad work she does. Aspiring trainer. Into round 3 of May Asprey's professional debut. A little bit mixed so far, shall we say, Wiz. You know, there's been flashes of what she can do, but she's just been dragged into Melina's fight a little bit too often.
Yeah, the first round a lot better than the second, I think. She found a lot more success there. The footwork was going, the foundations. The second round was a lot scrappier. Her opponent landing a lot more frequently with those looping shots. Ooh, that was very nice there. I think she's gone back to her foundations a little bit here.
Nice little right uppercut in there from Asprey, wasn't there?
Yeah, you can see by her eyes, she looks very focused. Like there, evading the punch. That was very nice. That's very good for her pro debut. You can see now she's settled down with the adrenaline, the nerves, and she's thinking. You can see by her eyes she's very focused.
You can see the concentration on her face now, can't you?
Exactly. Whereas before it was just pure emotion, all excitement, a lot of shots thrown. Now she's thinking. That's a lot better, I think.
Yeah, everything's just slowed down, hasn't it, Riz? She's just taking that little half a second extra, thinking about what she's doing rather than just reacting all the time.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. But this will work in her favour going forwards, especially if she can get the win here today. Moving forwards, she can analyse this fight, look at her mistakes, look at her positives, and hopefully she'll be able to improve in the future. That's what we all aim to do.
Melina looks like she's enjoying it as well. She's got a big smile on her face.
Yeah, I was just about to say she's smiling at her, grinning, but think every now and then there's just some shots landing which they look painful.
Just got to be careful in
Oof,
situations like that. She just
yeah.
stood in range with her chin up in the air, Asprey, and just neglecting the defences. And with that overhand right coming, it's just something she's got to be careful of.
That's exactly what I said in round one. She needs to be defensively sound when she's attacking, especially with all that excitement of a professional debut. Is it 4 rounds today, is it that they're doing? Yeah, so she's got one left. Hopefully she can slow down a little bit again, get back to her boxing foundations, get that jab going, backhand, movement of their feet, and she should be able to calculate the distance very well and move and evade all the punches, because her opponent, like I said before, is a little bit stuck in the mud. She's throwing these big haymaker shots, looping round shots, but she's catching her. She's catching the prospects because she's standing her ground just a little bit too long, I think. But overall, I'm pretty impressed today, just by this pro debut. It's going to be a very valuable experience for her.
Super bantamweight division in Britain, female boxing. It's well, we've got the best. We've got the best super bantamweight on the world. Unified and Ring Magazine champion Ellie Scotney. I'm sure she knows May. Also got Ramla Ali in there as well. So they're shining examples of what can happen if you do hit your stride. If you have got something, it just shows how quickly you can move in female boxing. So Asprey will have seen those people. She'll be using those as like her role models, and she'll be hoping to follow in their footsteps. But everyone's got to start somewhere, don't they? Everyone's got to begin.
No, of course. And because I've been so long in boxing, I mean, I had 128 fights as an amateur, going all the way from 10 years old to 25. I remember Ellie as an amateur. I remember her fighting in the ABA. She was always very hot, applying a lot of pressure, very intelligent as well. So a great role model for these ladies to look up to and try and aspire to beat ultimately, because that's what you want to do as a fighter. You want to beat the best.
Fourth round, just Asprey's done a decent job of taking Melina's aggression away from him this fourth round. You know, the last 2 rounds she's turned it into her kind of fight more and more, hasn't she? The first 2 were a little bit hectic, a little bit scattergun, but since she's settled down, everything's looked much better. It's been those straight punches that have really kept her nose just a little bit ahead, I think.
I feel like we're so close to the ring. She might be listening to our advice, because she's doing exactly what we were saying. She's started a little bit more footwork now. Straight shots are going. She's evading the punches very nicely, kind of going back to what was working for her at the beginning of the fight.
There we go, last 10 seconds done, and May Asprey's professional debut's completed. Does a lap of honour with the Argentine visitor, who looks very happy with herself. And we'll go over to our MC, Aki Kareem, to get the official scorecard in a moment. Don't forget, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, sending your comments, questions. If you agree with us, disagree with us, we don't care. We'll read them out. We like to have a little bit of interaction on these shows, so send in anything you've got. Even if you've got a message of support, we'll get those read out as well. There we go, May Asprey gets the decision, 4 rounds, 40-36. Got better as that fight went on and the nerves went, and she settled down, and the 3rd and 4th rounds were much better than 1st and 2nd, Riz, weren't they? She'll be happy with that.
Yeah, that was a very, very good and valuable professional debut for her, I think. Like you mentioned before, going the rounds will be of all value to her professional career. She can learn a lot from this experience tonight.
Right, just before the next fight, here's Milan. We've got a few questions coming in. We're going to pass it over the microphone. Passing microphones, passing earphones, you name it.
Sorry about that, Riz.
Yeah, what are people saying, Milan? We've had a second round win for Marvin Tomlinson so far, and then May Asprey just getting her professional career off to a winning start.
Yeah, I'll have a little run through these now. So you've got Tommy Hyde, Let's Go Marvin, nice bit of support there. We've got Matthew Ryan. Good to see the Black Flash show back to where it all started. We agree with that, strongly agree with that. It really is good to see. Good place to go to as well. So if you ever, let's have another look. Oh, my part. I don't know if you can hear us well here, but we're having a bit of a technical issue on our side.
But techno notice.
Bit of advice on the audio as well. We are currently working on that at the moment, so hopefully that gets a little bit better.
Yeah, no, we've got Matthew Ryan, boxed on plenty of these Black Flash shows back in his career. Good fighter out of a Collyhurst and Moston gym. So it's good to see Matthew watching, staying interested in what Black Flash are doing. And Tommy Hyde down there in Australia getting ready for his fight. Watching his old stablemate, well, his current stablemate, Marvin Tomlinson, get a win.
Got a good little question here for you as well, John.
Read it out.
Let's have a look. So, the Big Bros wants to know who would win between a badger or a baboon?
A baboon would win every day of the week and twice on Sundays.
Good response there, John. I agree with that.
Absolutely no question. What are you saying, Milan? A badger or a baboon?
A baboon all day, every day.
Keep the questions coming in. Fight shows moving on nice and quickly tonight. So we've got Paul Cummings, he's going to be fighting Jack Swallow.
This contest for 3-minute round sanction in the middleweight division. And your officials, timekeeper Chris Hancock, and your referee in charge of the action is A-star referee John Latham. And now it's time to meet the boxers. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner wearing the blue shorts, weighing in at 158.2 pounds. A veteran of the ring with 93 professional contests to his name. He comes to us from Wiltshire by way of Londonderry, Northern Ireland, Paul Cummings. And his opponent across the ring fights out of the red corner wearing the sky blue shorts. He weighed in at 156 pounds even. He is unbeaten in his campaign as a professional, 2 wins against no losses. One of his wins by way of knockout from Glossop, Derbyshire, by way of Manchester, Jack Swallow.
Right, let's expect
It'll be very interesting to see this contest for me. We've got a veteran of 93 contests here, and Jack Swallow coming off a good TKO win last time around. Let's see if he can maintain that momentum and drive it through in this fight.
Yeah, popular lad, Jack Swallow, nice tidy boxer. Third professional fight, got a stoppage last time out. Just mixing with journeymen at the moment, but it's invaluable rounds, isn't it, Riz? You know, when you're mixing with these guys, they know every trick in the book. It's rounds that just pay dividends for the rest of your career.
Journeyman or not, I mean, boxing is so unpredictable. You have upsets left, right and centre, big shots coming out of nowhere. I mean, that's what makes boxing beautiful, and with this guy being a 93 fight veteran, you don't really know what to expect sometimes. Anything can happen.
Yeah, on a bit of a losing run, Paul Cummings. Last win was way back in February 2022, but doesn't get stopped very often. See him regularly on the scene, knows exactly what the score is. But Jack Swallow making a nice quick start here, isn't he? Using his feet, popping out that jab, just changing the angles, not making himself too predictable.
Jack just landed a very beautiful right hand. He's boxing very well so far.
Just moving around Cummings really nicely, isn't he? You know, a mistake a lot of these young kids make is they become too easy for the opponent to read, and it makes it easy to tie them up, doesn't it? But Jack's shown him plenty of different looks here.
Yeah, technically speaking, Jack's boxing very well. A minute ago he landed a very clean backhand, so it just shows you that the sorry, I'm just watching the action here. It's heating up a little bit.
Yeah, boxing nicely. Just finished that last little burst with a little left up to the body and skirted out the way.
If you can just slow himself down a little bit, Jack, not throw so many punches and time him the way he did earlier, I think he'll find a lot more success. But he's boxing very nicely so far. Very nice jab and lean back to evade the punch coming his way.
Nice shot and just got straight back to a safe distance, didn't he? Boxing really well. Nice little bit of defensive work as well there from Swallow. Just as soon as he touched the ropes, skirted out to the left and just reset himself. Looks like quite a stiff puncher as well, Jack Swallow, to me, Riz. You know, the punches come out quick and straight, and just looks like he's got a little bit of snap to his shots.
He does, but I was literally just about to say, he's boxing very nicely. However, the one thing I would like to see later on in the rounds is just a little bit more venom in them jabs. He's kind of pouring them out a little bit, keeping the opponent at bay, which is all right. But every now and then you want to see one that just carries a little bit more weight, a little bit more venom, and then you can go back to your boxing.
Good bit of a variety there. That left up to the body's been a nice little shot that Swallow's used well in this first round. But yeah, nice little first round there for Jack Swallow. Unbeaten 20-year-old, looking to go 3-0. Yeah, questions coming in on the chats. Yeah, over in Altrincham last night at Ice Station Zebra. Freezing cold at the ice rink for Pat Brown's debut. Looks like Pat's going to be a figurehead of Manchester boxing, Riz, and we all want Pat to do well, don't we? We need someone to be filling that Co-op Arena and getting you lads lots of opportunities, don't we?
That was always the plan, I think, for Black Flash, and I really hope, for the sake of all the boxers, all the fighters, Pat himself, everybody in the promotion, I hope it does grow bigger than anything we've known in UK boxing. And I think it does have that potential, but it's all down to you people, you beautiful people supporting, watching. That's what we need as fighters, that's what Pat needs as the promotion. You guys do everything for us, so just enjoy the show, enjoy the fireworks. Round 2 coming in now. Just have fun and we will all grow together.
Yeah, let's see if Jack can build on what he managed in that first round. Maybe, as Rizard said, just add a little bit of venom and a little bit more weight to those shots, but looks like he punches with a little bit of spite already. Nice little bit of work with his lead hand there, and just looks for an uppercut and then skirts out of the way and right back to where he started, Riz.
In professional boxing, it's all about efficiency, reserving that energy, so he's boxing very nicely. Where I meant about the venom, it's just every now and then, putting in a shot here and there, just snapping it out, and then going back to your boxing, nice and loose, so you can read what your opponent is doing and not walk into anything. He's evading the punches very nicely at the moment. I just think he needs to get his hands a little bit higher up at times, just to. We've seen this pattern in every single fight today, where the supposed journeyman comes in throwing big looping shots. So for anybody watching or any prospects that are having their first couple of professional fights, it's a clear pattern that's what you need to be careful of. Be defensively sound, be careful for them big looping shots, remember your foundations. But Jack right now is keeping a very nice long distance, keeping his opponent at bay.
Keeps pressing forward, Cummings, doesn't he, with his hands up, but he's just not got the ability, the speed or the imagination to cause Jack too many problems. But Jack's doing well, you know, he's avoiding getting dragged into that kind of thing. He's just concentrating on his boxing, doing what he does well, and so far everything's going to plan.
Yeah, he seems a very brave fighter. Maybe doesn't have the ability to overcome what Jack is doing so far, but you can see him grinning, smiling, so he must be enjoying himself in there. And yeah, Jack is boxing very nicely so far. His opponent is constantly pressing, which is very admirable. He seems very brave.
Nice little right hand there from Jack again, and just got back to centre ring.
Lovely backhand, and then spinning around and going off into the distance.
Well, a fair few people here tonight. Jack Swallow, up the road from Glossop. If you're watching, if you've got any thoughts on Jack, you want to let us know anything, send in the comments. We'll read them out. I'm sure you're impressed with what you're seeing, because finishing the second round really nicely. Good little bit of combination, stepping off, going for a second phase as well, Rissa. Clearly pretty confident now as well.
Yeah, he's grown in confidence clearly from round one. Built on that in round two, even though his opponent keeps pressing and keeps trying to push him back. He's boxing very nicely. He's finding those little angles off to the sides. Yeah, you mentioned earlier the body shots. That would be a nice addition to what Jack is doing tonight. Just occasionally a little bit of snap in his jab, keeping that distance, moving his feet, and then just surprising his opponent with a nice body shot, because his opponent does seem very brave tonight, and that's one thing that takes your ambition away, is a good body shot. Sink him right in, and any fight out there, if you took a good body shot, you know about it.
Yeah, a headshot comes and goes, doesn't it? But a body shot stays with you.
Yeah, exactly. You can recover pretty quick, even if you get buzzed. You lose a little bit of balance. You can recover from that. The body shots, they just take that life away from you, and little by little, you feel as the rounds go on. He's got a little spring in his step, Jack does.
What's it like, Riz? You know, you're in there, you can feel you've got everything under control, you feel confident. At what point do you start opening up your repertoire a little bit and showing people what you've got? Is it when you know you've got the fight won and you can sense that the other guy's got nothing to hurt you with? At what point do you sort of relax and start trying things out? Because Jack's got this in hand, and will he start looking to practice the things they've been working on in the gym now? You know, now he's got the fight under control.
I think that relaxation comes with experience, to be honest with you. At first, like the lady earlier fighting, you've got your professional debut, you've got a lot of adrenaline, you've got your whole family watching, your crowd, friends, everybody. There's a lot of pressure on these fighters to perform and do well. So it's very difficult to try and relax and, you know, enjoy the process of the fight itself. For me, sorry, I was just I zoned out for a second just watching the fight. Yeah, I think you have to be defensively sound, find that relaxation and enjoyment. And I wouldn't be surprised if what Jack is doing now is what he's working on. It's just, there's a few elements when he gains a little bit more experience I'd like to see personally for him to execute. Like we said, the body shots, the occasional snap and venom behind the punches. but he's doing something very nicely, which I like, which is something like that there. Landed a lovely backhand after leaning back. He's got good footwork, good foundations. He's got a very good, solid base to work from and develop from. Oh, he walked onto a jab there, though.
He
Needs
did
to
walk
stay
into a
switched
jab.
on.
He's been trying to time an uppercut on him just as his back touches the ropes on Cummings, hasn't he? But yeah, he did just take a jab there.
That's exactly what I was saying. You need to stay switched on. But you said something earlier about when do you relax? Do you relax when you think you've got the opponent beat or something like that? I've seen so many prospects, so many high-level fighters get knocked out even seconds before the end of the fight because they fall into that trap. They fall into a trap thinking they've won the contest, it's over, and then boom, it is over. But in the opposite way. So you have to maintain that focus all the way through, from the first bell to the last. Win every single second of the contest, hopefully, in your mind. That's the plan.
There's that right uppercut. He just landed again as Cummings walks into the ropes, but Talk leaves his chin up high and eats a big right hand there from Cummings. Again, just
big looping shots. That's why I said earlier.
Showing again that you just got to be switched on. Plenty of comments coming through. Thanks for watching this and sending things in. We'll get Milan to read through a few.
So we've got another message from the Big Bros. Well done for screening, by the way. More smaller hall shows should do this. No, I agree. It's good to see, and it's good to have, you know, people to be able to watch it from the comfort of their own home as well. I mean, I would strongly advise everyone to come down and, you know, come down to these shows, but, you know, it is good to be able to watch it, like I said, in the comfort of your own home. Oh, well, we've got Riz here as well. Question for you, Riz. Let me find this now. Just getting the Badger comment up. Who would win, either a Badger or a Baboon in a fight? We was asked earlier.
Do you know what? I was just thinking there, as much as I've got a face for radio, and I'm absolutely made for this, you've got a very nice radio voice. It's the first time I've heard you in the headpieces that we're wearing. Sorry, that's just a little side piece, but back to the question, who would win, a Badger or a Baboon?
It's got to be a Baboon.
I tell you what, I wouldn't want to face either one.
I think you faced a lot more worse than a Badger, Riz.
I don't know. A Baboon can do some damage.
Oh, a Baboon 100%, but not a Badger.
Come on, you run away, don't you?
Got a little bit sidetracked there. Let's get a bit back to the fight. We'll run over the comments shortly.
I'm really enjoying what Jack is doing here tonight. With the occasional mistakes here and there, it'll be a great opportunity for him to analyse what he's doing later on once he settles down, gets back to his gym. But providing the contest, of course, goes the way it is at the moment, but like I said, anything can happen. He's boxing very well so far, and his opponent is pushing him, pressing him, constantly making him think, occasionally catching him with the shots. Jack swallow. Hey, the crowd here is amazing. These fighters have the fans have really come out to support the fighters. I'm loving seeing this. It's so nice to see. When you're inside the ring, it's a little bit of a tunnel vision. Everything outside the ring is black. You don't really get to absorb it until after the fight. So now I'm sat here. It's so nice to see.
It is good to see, and these fights are good, you know, for people like Jack. It gives them a chance to learn while they're in the ring, and they've got that pressure, and they've got an audience there.
Yeah, it's just great for developing their careers.
100%.
And like I said, even though Jack is mainly boxing very nicely for me, he is making the occasional mistakes, which are a perfect thing for him at this stage of his career, because it's not a negative. I'm not trying to criticize Jack in any way, shape or form. Both the lads are boxing very nicely so far, but it's just an opportunity for him to improve later down the line. So like there, he just throw a double jab, left his backhand a little bit low. As he goes up in ranks, he's not going to get away with those mistakes. So at the moment, this is a perfect opportunity for him to develop those things. Like somebody said in the comments, let's see them body shots. There's a lovely left hook. And a nice change of direction. Very nice. Yes, very good finish. Fantastic effort from both the lads.
Yeah, nice strong end to the round. What was it like? Do you remember, you know, going back in your career is what it was like when you first started doing your professional boxing? What was that like?
It's like I said earlier, it's just so much nerves, there's so much pressure on your back. You very rarely get to enjoy the actual fights themselves until they're finished. Then you get to kind of see the crowd, everybody that's come out to watch you, you know, you get to absorb it. But before that, you're in such a tunnel, like a focus, that you don't really get to absorb any of that. But it does improve the more experience you get, I suppose.
After 4 rounds of boxing, we go to John Lagan's scorecard, which reads 40 points to 36 points in favour of
4-0.
your winner from Gloucester.
Nice, I really enjoyed that contest.
Nice atmosphere as well that come with it. Really does the world of good when you've got a good crowd there and it's going like that.
Yeah, so everybody watching, your support means everything. And if you can get yourself down, if it's not too far away for you, come down and enjoy the atmosphere. Next time Black Flash has a show in May, there's going to be great fights like there are tonight. You know, it's the name of the game is to create real fights. Like there, we saw one guy pressing from start to finish, jag boxing beautifully, moving around, evading. So it's a nice clash of styles there. I really enjoyed that. I kind of wish I could grab the cameras now and just show everybody watching on YouTube how packed this place is and what a great atmosphere we have here.
Right, just had a bit of an heads up here, Riz. We're going to have a break. We've got a singer that's coming on now. She's making her way into the ring.
Is it my turn to get? Okay, yeah.
Riz, I'm not asking you to meet you in the ring, you know.
We have a performance for you right now in the ring. We have a rapper from Manchester with the song Magic. It's Persia. Don't forget to follow her Instagram at Persia UK. So ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Persia.
Woo. Yes, Manchester. How you feeling? Woo. Right, so I've got a song. It's called Magic. It's about overcoming pain and triumphing over your pain. So yeah, hit the music.
We have a big social right, fundamental right from the beginning about our reaction to anything.
I came to be the best, not to socialize. They never see me, but they always feel me like a poltergeist. Overlook me, they should have booked me. What an oversight. I'm unique, these bitches all the same, just like a prototype. It's my time, you must not have read the rotor right. Ride the track till the wheels fall off like a motorbike. You won't find me in the club, I ain't no socialite. I chose to ride overnights out, raised them on the walls, looking hungry with their knives out. Put me in their boxes, but a motherfucker climbed out. They don't want to smoke and they ain't brave enough to find out. You ain't ready for me, then it's best you fucking mind out. And I've been bad, but I've never been in time out. All my bitches bougie with a tendency to wild out. Tell me what you do when your tears are fucking dried out. I defy doubt, I've been down and it's time for me to rise now. Still I rise like a phoenix from the ashes. Misunderstood, but there's a method to the madness. What didn't kill me made me stronger from the practice. I took my pain and I turned it into magic. Still I rise like a phoenix from the ashes. Misunderstood, but there's a method to the madness. What didn't kill me made me stronger from the practice. I took my pain and I turned it into magic. The dream's free, but the hustle's expensive. They fake it till they make it, yo, these bitches pretending. I pay my dues now, I'm never relenting. And I'm moving up, nah, bitch, I'm never descending. I say stuff straight up, these bitches is bending. That's why you're doing hella shows, but no one attended. No ghost writers, no guidance, I'm nobody's protege. I'm the queen and they should come and feed me with a bowl of grapes. No debates, Persia coming, no escape. Yeah, I'm coming to your studio, I'm running through the gates. My own mother couldn't put me in my place. When the kitchen gets hot, I just fix myself a plate. Wait a second, I've been repping like I'm holding weight. 16, rolling bait, altercations on cold estates. Nobody told me you get bitten if you roll with snakes. I made music from my pain, it made it go away. Still I rise like a phoenix from the ashes. Misunderstood, but there's a method to the madness. What didn't kill me made me stronger from the practice. I took my pain and I turned it into magic. Still I rise like a phoenix from the ashes. Misunderstood, but there's a method to the madness. What didn't kill me made me stronger from the practice. I took my pain and I turned it into magic. Still I rise like a phoenix from the ashes. Misunderstood, but there's a method to the madness. What didn't kill me made me stronger from the practice. I took my pain and I turned it into magic. I took my pain and I turned it into magic. I took my pain and I turned it into magic. What didn't kill me made me stronger from the practice. I took my pain and I turned it into magic. Thank you very much, Manchester. Thank you for having me. I'm just warming you up in between the fights. I hope you enjoy the rest of the night. Oh, sick. Thank you. You weren't expecting that.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Purdue. We'll be back shortly with our next bout, in which we will see Liverpool's Il Capo, Josh Paladino. We'll be back very shortly with our next contest. Merseyside, Paladino. Gentlemen, Manchester Mayhem is brought to you by Pat Barrett of Black Flash Promotions. This contest for 3-minute round sanction in the welterweight division. And your officials, timekeeper will be Anthony Rushton, and your referee in charge of the action is A-star referee Darren Sargentson. And now it's time to meet the boxers. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner wearing the black shorts. He weighed in at 155.6 pounds, and he is a veteran of the ring, ladies and gentlemen. 142 professional contests. He comes to us from Blackburn, Lancashire. Please welcome Naeem Ali. And his opponent across the ring fights out of the red corner and wears the blue and white shorts. He weighed in 141.4 pounds, and he comes to the ring with a perfect professional record consisting of 3 wins against no losses. He comes to us from Liverpool, Merseyside, Il Capo, Josh Paladino.
Fellas, you both know the rules, keep it clean, nothing low, watch your heads. When I say break, take a step back. Most importantly, defend yourself all times.
Thanks for sticking with us during the musical interlude, and we're back with the fights now. And we've got promising Liverpudlian welterweight Josh Paladino taking on late substitute Naeem Ali.
Seconds out, round 1.
Really promising so far, Josh. Nice technical correct boxer, trains out of the Golden Gloves gym over there in Liverpool with Wayne Smith. And plenty to like so far. This is 4th professional fight, and he'll be someone you've seen in the gym, Riz, because he spars with a couple of your gym mates.
Yeah, I was quite excited to see Josh today. I've seen him spar against George Colleen, who is later on tonight as well. So I've seen him share some rounds, I've seen what he's about. But you don't really know until they step under the brightest lights. So he started very well here, round 1. He looks fundamentally very well, keeping his hands tight. Doesn't seem to be overexcited, or he's controlling his emotions very well so far, and yeah, I'm excited to see what he's got.
Yeah, Naeem Ali, one of the most experienced fighters in the country. This is going to be his 143rd fight, so he knows his way around the ring. He'll have seen everything Josh is probably going to throw at him, but it's always good to just see if these youngsters have got that little bit of something special, that little bit of devil that we like to see, Riz, isn't it? See, can Josh find an opening where so many can't? It's always good to see if they can do it, and we've got something special in our hands.
Well, we're about to see. Ali looks very technical as well. He looks very intelligent inside the ring. But like I said earlier, it just takes one good body shot, and it's done. So whether Josh can pull it off or not, we'll see. But he started off very well so far. Very positive start for him, I think.
Yeah, that jab's his big weapon, Paladino. He's like a rangy welterweight, isn't he? And he uses that jab to set the distance, sets all his attacks up from that jab, and once he's got that working, you can see that everything flows from that, doesn't it, Riz?
Yeah, that's exactly right, and he's not falling in, not falling over his front foot, so he's not susceptible to walking onto shots. At least so far, that is. He's working behind his jab, moving his head very nicely, but Ali does look very talented in what he's doing. So it's going to be very difficult to land clean on him, I think, tonight. But we'll see what the contest reveals as the time goes on.
Yeah, nice little left hook to the body there from Paladino. Just 21 years old, turned pro last year. Got 3 decision wins last year. Nice little change of angles there, Riz, wasn't it? Just looking for a home for that left hook to the stomach.
Took the words out of my mouth. The only thing missing is that cherry on top of the cake. Ooh, that one right there. That right hand right there is the cherry on top of the cake. He's got some nice moves there. He's moving his head, moving his feet, changing the angles. There, lovely left hook to finish that combination. It's just that sweet, clean shot to end the combination so the judges know and remember who's winning the round. Very good round from Josh there. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, looks nice and relaxed. Josh, he looks like he's settled into being a professional fighter now. How long did it take you, Riz, until you were comfortable getting in there? The nerves had just dropped a little bit, and you were happy in your job. You were relaxed about it. How many fights did it take?
I'm still learning. I'm not gonna lie. I'm about 150 fights in, and I'm still learning. So I think it's a never-ending process. It's a little bit like playing chess or something. It's a game that the better you get, the more you understand it, the more you see that there's an ocean, a vast ocean of information left behind. So yeah, I'm still learning. I can control the nerves. You know, people think when they see you on TV and you're looking all confident and you're fired up, trust me, you are nervous. And I think Chris Eubank Sr. once explained that very well back in the day. That's why he used to pose so much, is just to hide the shake of the legs. But it's just controlling it, really, because we all feel the nerves. We all are scared to lose at the end of the day, but it's just controlling that and putting in a performance, and then obviously if it all goes your way, you can go home and enjoy and celebrate. It's kind of like I said earlier, you're in a tunnel vision all night. You're focused, you warm up, you're sweating, you get in the ring, you do your fight, everybody's cheering, there's a full crowd going for you. You don't see any of that until the fight is finished. Oh, lovely work from Josh there.
Yeah, you can see they've definitely been practicing on switching the feet and moving around the target, can't you? Once he gets Ali cornered, instantly he tries, he's stepping to the left and looking for the right to the stomach, or stepping to the right and looking to the left. He's trying to create openings. It must be something they've been working on.
It must be an element they've been working on. And another element that I really like there in that corner, he's not loading up on the shots. He's not getting carried away trying to take his man out. He's putting his shots together, changing the angle, hitting, then getting out. Very nice for me. It's very positive going forward. Lovely double jab there. And a little swing, trying some different angles there to try and penetrate that defense.
And you know Wayne Smith well, don't you, over at Golden Gloves? You see him very regularly, Riz, in the gym. He's a good trainer, isn't he? Good guy. He's
a terrific trainer. He's got a lot of great fighters. Similar to Pat, to be honest with you. I think they go a long way back, and they both create very good fighters. So our sparring sessions between the two clubs are always very entertaining.
Everything in hand here so far for Josh Paladino. That jab's working well. His body shots are coming off nicely. Plenty of head movement.
Yeah, he's defensively sound, and he's clearly trying some new angles here and there. A little bit of a loop in right hand, left hook right there. He's just looking for something else, because as well as he's boxing, he's just not quite finding the clean shots as often as he would maybe like. But occasionally he's coming through like there. Lovely overhand right. And that's exactly what you got to do. Ali's just very clever, very intelligent, very talented, and penetrating his defense is a big ask, and Josh is doing that very well every now and then.
Still to come tonight, we've got 2 Colliers and Moston fighters. We've got George Colleen fighting Jordan Granom, and then we've got Niall Brown taking a little bit of I wouldn't say a step up, but an interesting fight. He's fighting a Czechoslovakian guy, Patrick Fiala, we'll tell you about a little later. But a nice little late round fight there for Niall Brown. But another round in the bank for Josh Paladino.
Yep, and Ali there's just sticking his chin out in the air, trying to goat Josh into overreaching, overcommitting, so he can maybe try and catch him with a counter. And it's quite impressive because Josh is young. Josh is a young fighter, and he showed some very nice maturity there in not falling for his opponent's tricks and just sticking to the game plan. And sometimes that is the hardest thing to do, is just to stick to what your coach is telling you. I'd be very interested to hear what Wayne is telling him there in the corner.
Yeah, no panic is there. He's not saying much actually, just be keeping instructions simple, won't he? Probably just telling him carry on doing the same. You know, it's what's working, it's working, isn't it? No need to change something that's broken.
Exactly that, exactly that. I cannot see Josh getting caught with very much tonight, boxing the way he is. He's boxing very technically and defensively sound, so I like it because he's also been the aggressor throughout the majority of the contest, and he's not falling for his opponent's tricks. Starting off this round with a little double jab, going downstairs, maybe setting up a backhand upstairs, we'll see.
I do like those attacks, Riz. I do like it. It's clever, isn't it? You know, if there's no openings there, because Ali's guard is so tight, so high, so Josh is doing all he can to create an opening.
Exactly what I was going to say. Josh is now having to create these openings, and he's trying. He's finding little left hooks round the elbows to the body. But Ali is really impressive here defensively, to be honest with you. Good footwork, then he invites him in, stops his feet. But Josh is boxing very nicely, not overcommitting, like I said previously. Getting his shots, changing the angles, looking to create something different, and then just getting off and starting again. Very under control all the way through.
It's a light notice opponent, this. Josh was supposed to be fighting Casey Granom. Have you had that in your career yet, Riz, where you've lost an opponent in a day or so before the fight and you have to readjust your mind to somebody else?
I have, but like I said, I've got a vast experience of amateur boxing and Olympic boxing where you're fighting in tournaments, five
you
fights.
never know who you're going to fight until
No, exactly, and sometimes you're fighting multiple times, like 5 times in 5 days, and every single day is just somebody different. So in professional boxing, I've had situations where I've had opponents pull out, but I've also had opportunities that arose at the last minute where I've stepped in. I went down to London, fought a hot prospect there, and ended up being one of my best performances, even though it was on like a 4 days notice. So as long as you're in the gym and you're staying ready, it's sometimes better to not overthink who you're fighting. You know, your coaches will do the thinking, they will analyze a game plan and all that kind of stuff. And for a lot of the fighters, me including, if I focus on just being 100% myself rather than trying to think what I can overcome in the ring, I end up boxing better. Yeah. And so yeah, it doesn't matter. I think Josh here tonight will be focusing on things he's been working on in the gym. Like we can see the angle changes, keeping his hands up, being defensively sound, going behind that jab. And I think no matter who you put in front of him tonight, that's what he's going to be doing. That's the game plan.
Just took a big left hook there at the end of the round. Paladino just allowed his concentration to slip for a second, but I think that's probably the first clean shot he's took all night. So far so good. 4th and final round coming up. And then George Colleen and Niall Brown.
Can't wait for those two.
Before George and Niall come in, we'll bring Milan in. She can tell you what she's seen from the guys, because you spend a lot of the time associated with Collyhurst and Moston these days. Rizard spends all day every day in there, so we'll get a little bit of background on how Niall and George have been preparing before they make their appearances. Fourth round. Ball in control here for Josh Paladino. Unless there's something goes horribly wrong, he's going to go to 4-0. But it doesn't look like that so far.
No, I'd like to see if he's going to change his game plan a little bit, just considering it's the last round. Nothing silly, not walking onto any shots or getting carried away with emotions, but I'd like to see if he can find something that might be a little bit more successful in penetrating Ali's defences. Ooh, big swing and a miss there. I need to be careful giving these fighters positive comments, because they seem to walk onto shots straight after. It's commentator's curse.
Exactly, the curse of a commentator.
Yeah. But it's the first time really in the contest where Josh has gone backwards a little bit, trying to invite his opponent in. I suppose that didn't last long. He's straight back onto his front foot.
You can tell Josh has still got some growing to do, can't you? In a couple of years, he's going to look physically like a completely different fighter.
Yeah, of course, and similar to George Collina, who's fighting later on tonight, they're both fairly young still and early on in their career, so fights like these are just perfect for him to be able to develop and grow from. There are little bits of mistakes here and there, and like I said earlier when Josh was fighting, it's not a negative pointing those out, it's a positive thing because it allows them to build on it.
Popular guy Josh, plenty of you watching on the live stream. I know there was fights last night, but I think we're your only place to be watching stuff tonight, so thanks for tuning in. And we've got a couple really good prospects coming up next. Niall Brown, you may have seen him on Channel 5 and Wasserman, making a little bit of a name for himself as Paladino lands a nice right hand.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you there, but there was just a lot of feints going on. I thought something was getting created, and all of a sudden Josh throws a lovely backhand and lands it clean. Ali kind of looks to the crowd as to kind of play it down like it didn't really hurt him, but it was the cleanest shot of the fight so far for me. And yeah, created, like we said earlier, created of the feints of something different, changes of the angles.
Here we go, final 10 seconds. Nice, solid performance here from Josh Paladino. Dealt with a late notice change of opponent, stays unbeaten, wins every round, and he'll be happy with his night's work. I'm sure Wayne Smith's happy as well. We get our official score from Aki Queen, but I don't think we need to be a genius to work out what the score here is. I think we can hazard a good guess at this.
No, and like I said earlier, considering his age, that was a very mature performance, very impressive for me. Even though he didn't really get the knockout or the exciting finish, it was a very good contest for him. He showed a lot of his tools, and yeah, this will clearly be a 40-36 for me. Well, just watching the scoring there, 40-37, I cannot say in any world I agree with that. I mean, it's easy. I don't know what to say. I mean, it doesn't.
What you're thinking, Riz.
It doesn't change the outcome of the fight, but these decisions can often be the determining factor of a fighter's career. What 40-37 means, for those watching that don't really understand the scorings properly, and it is sometimes confusing, that means the referee gave one round even in a 4-rounder, which I know is not a big deal.
Yeah.
And it is subjective. You can see it in different ways, different angles, but there is no way, in my opinion, where any of those rounds there were a draw.
I agree. No, I agree with that 100%.
I think going forward, boxing would, I mean, everybody says it all the time and nothing really gets done about it. And me as a fighter, I hope one day there is something implemented into boxing where poor decisions or decisions that impact the fighter's life in a big way.
About the, what's that thing that they have in football again, VAR or something? It was going to try and bring that into it, wasn't there?
Yeah, I'm not sure that would work particularly for boxing because it's too dynamic, too quick, the nature of the sport. But let's say there's a Jack Catterall v Taylor, the first fight, right?
Yeah.
Where Catterall should have won really by a large margin, doesn't. He loses. There should be some form of a system where a panel of judges watches that fight behind closed doors after the fact, and they can assess the situation, and if it was wrong on the night, which anything can happen under emotions, and I understand all that, there's a lot of pressure on these judges as well, but that decision should be able to be reversed. We saw the other week Paddy Donovan fighting Lewis Crocker, and the fight ended very controversially with a knockout maybe 3 seconds after the bell. You know, it's loud, there's a lot of emotions. The referee, for my liking, was too far away from the fighters. For those watching boxing regularly, you always hear a clapper where it will be 10 seconds before the end of the fight. It will go, and then there, at that point, the referee should be really close to the action, ready to step in and go, stop. He never did that. So for me, even though Paddy Donovan technically committed a foul, knocking out his opponent after the fact, after the bell, that is more of a referee's fault, and that, I suppose that is subjective in a way, but although the IBF have now ordered a rematch between the two, the original decision, which is now a loss by disqualification, remains on the record. And this happens all the time at all levels of boxing. And it would just be nice to see that there is something implemented in boxing where a decision can be appealed or something, and it can actually be changed or overturned.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Sorry everybody listening if I had a little bit of rant there. As you can tell, I'm quite passionate about boxing and I love the game. I've lived it my whole life, so if I get a little bit too passionate, I do apologise.
So you've been around the gym as well, Riz, obviously. Just want to go over how you reckon George and Niall's camp has been.
Yeah, so for the first time, I've not really been able to spar the two. Any camp we ever do, and like I said previously, we train all year round, so we're always in the gym, always training, sparring. Obviously, the intensity kind of steps up when the fight is there, but we're almost there, almost at the peak all year round. So when the phone call does come in, we're always kind of ready. I've had a cut, so I've not really been able to experience that in person with these lads, through sparring or something like that, but they're looking red hot in preparations. They're looking so ready to perform tonight, and I'm just excited. I mean, I'm sweating watching them because I'm quite nervous for him, as you always would be watching a friend or a family member or something like that, but I just feel like I'm fighting where we're sat right now.
We're like in the ring.
Yeah, it's insane. I've never been to an event really where I'm not fighting and I'm just supporting my friends. Always when I support my friends, I end up fighting on the same shows, so I have to kind of put that aside and focus on me. Tonight, I'm all about support, and the fights so far have been very interesting in different elements. You know, there's prospects coming in, working on things, mistakes being kind of exposed here and there, but kind of all sticking to the script. And I'm just excited to see what happens in the next two fights, because I know the opposition that George and Niall will face tonight will test him in some ways. And I know for a fact when we go back to the gym, Pat is going to expose every single mistake that George and Niall do. He'll probably even have me for the commentary on here.
Yeah, and they are exciting fights. We've had George and Granom fight on the Black Flash shows more than once. He's a good fighter. He's interesting to watch. He's got that bit of fire about him, so I'm excited to see him and George.
Jordan Granom is very interesting. He's a very clever fighter. He's very experienced as well. He's had a lot. Oh, sorry. Let's let Aki have a go here.
Sanctioned in the super middleweight division. Please welcome to the ring first, coming to us from the Czech Republic, Patrick Fiala. And now please welcome his opponent, coming to us from Stockport, Cheshire. It's Niall Brown. Manchester Mayhem is brought to you by Pat Barrett of Black Flash Promotions, and this contest is a 3-minute round sanctioned in the super middleweight division. And your officials for this contest, timekeeper will be Chris Hancock, and your referee in charge of the action is A-star referee John Latham. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to meet the boxers. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner and wearing the white shorts. He weighed in at 169.8 pounds. His record consists of 11 wins against 5 defeats with 2 draws, and 8 of his 11 wins come by way of knockout. Presenting the former the UBO Continental Champion, coming to us from Lvicky, Czech Republic, it's Patrick Fiala! And his opponent across the ring fights out of the red corner and wears the white and yellow shorts. He weighed in at 171.4 pounds and comes to the ring with a perfect professional record. 13 wins, no losses, 4 of his wins coming by way of knockout. And he is the fighting pride of Stockport, Cheshire, Niall Brown!
Come on, Niall.
Okay? Right, lads, you'll expect from you both, you obey the instructions at all times. When I tell you to break, you both break clean. Touch gloves, best of luck.
We go for the latest appearance of a very promising Niall Brown. 13-0 now. Progressed really nicely, been kept nice and busy. Earned a spot on a couple of Wasserman cards. Had some national TV exposure. Back on a Black Flash show for
Round
what could
one.
be an interesting little fight here with Czechoslovakia's Patrick Fiala. 11-5, but on a streak of 3 successive knockout wins. He's won 6 of his last 7. And he's coming here with a little bit of ambition. So it's a good test for Niall Brown, Riz.
I'm worried the boxing gods are listening and the commentator's curse is going to come in, but his opponent coming in of 3 solid wins. He's got 8 out of 11 wins coming by knockout, and you can see by his physique he's ready to throw some bombs. But I will say, one of the main reasons why I'm with Pat right now, learning my craft from him, is my introduction through sparring Niall Brown in the ring right now. When they first came to the gym for me to spar, Niall, what impressed me the most, he was the most defensively tight fighter, the most defensively sound fighter I've ever faced. And like I say, I've had a lot of experience, top 5% in the world as an amateur. It impressed me so much that I wanted a little bit of that cake. And he started off beautifully here, very tight, landing somebody's shots.
Yeah, very relaxed styled, Niall. You know, he's a experienced fighter, isn't he? You know, it's his 14th professional fight, but also a very high level Thai boxer. So he's used to fight. You know, he knows how to handle himself in the ring. But he's made the switch over to boxing really well, hasn't he? You know, he's the next off a Black Flash production line where we got Zelfa, we got Lyndon, and Niall's the next one off it. You can see he's got that style, hasn't he? He's got that rhythm you all like to work with, and the jab works well. His footwork's good. He's got a pretty good variety. But a good little lively opponent here in Fiala.
Yeah, his opponent looks very strong tonight. But what I like about Niall is he is a thinking fighter. Everything he does, it's got a thought behind it. He's creating opportunities, creating punches. He's defending with purpose. I like that about him, and tonight he's going to have a handful with this guy, but plenty of opportunities to create something as his opponent is not holding back. He's coming in with big shots, potentially exposing himself, but also very dangerous in what he does. I'm excited by this one.
I know a few people were taken by surprise when Niall moved up from middleweight to super middleweight, but looking at the guys in the ring now, you know, Fiala is a super middleweight, and Niall's the bigger man.
Yeah, Niall is a big lad. I don't know how he ever made middle. He's strong too, very fit, but moving up in weight I think can only be good for him. Good for his engine, good for his resistance.
But yeah, it's good bit of matchmaking. It's always good when the opponent really lets you know early on that they're here to win. Catch a nice little uppercut Fiala there as well. He's nice little inside fighter. Interesting first round, Riz.
Yeah, very interesting. I think both fighters have scored more punches than they would have maybe liked to receive. Very good first round. I'm curious to see what Pat will be saying here. I know I shouldn't be biased as a commentator, but this is my gym, mate, so
well,
come on now, let's go.
You can be forgiven. It'd be an awkward conversation on Monday if you weren't.
No.
Yeah, he boxed twice on Channel 5 shows, on Wasserman shows last year. Niall, couple of decision wins over 6 rounds. And I know he also appeared earlier in his career in a real war with Bahadur Karami. So he's had lots of experience, and it's good that people are noticing him. So taking on it shows his ambition, actually, taking on a tricky opponent on a show like this.
But boxing, development in boxing is all about activity for young fighters and developing fighters, and Niall's doing exactly that. He's banking the rounds in, getting all the fights in, and he's improving in his performances every time, which is the impressive part. And look, just as I say that, he catches a left hook. So I need to be careful with my commentary.
Fiala's happy to work inside as well, isn't he? You know,
he looks like a very strong lad, yeah.
I know Niall's a good inside fighter, isn't he? You know, look, he's comfortable inside, but I wonder if tonight, you know, he needs to keep Fiala just at the end of that and keep him at range, keep him at distance.
No, you're absolutely right with that. Niall is a very good inside fighter, but sometimes you have to stick to your strengths. And I think here, this one tonight, is just going to be being defensively sound and keeping his opponent at range. And I think that, like there, in a little step back, just not allowing him any opportunity to counter with anything. I'd like to see Niall mix it up a little bit with the straight shots. Go downstairs, go up, keep mixing it up like a paintbrush. maybe create something on the end of that. Lovely head movement, very good there. Oh, and he tries again. He just rushes in with such big shots.
Yeah, he's got an explosive build, hasn't he? You know, you can tell he's that kind of fighter, and he just bides his time and then just explodes those left hooks, doesn't he? Just tries to get Brown on the back foot.
But opponents like that are exactly the example for young fighters to not overcommit. You know, it's very tempting when he's defending, he's sat there tucking up to overcommit, throw something, go over your front foot, and next thing you know, you're sat on the floor with little tingly feelings in your toes and your fingers because you've walked onto one, and all you've got then is just having to get yourself back up. So Niall is doing very well here, avoiding that and sticking to the game plan. And by the way, guys, I said that description so well because I've been there myself. So I know what it feels like.
Nice uppercut there from Riz, just on the break from Brown.
Yeah, I think he's coming into this contest better now.
Yeah, he's just drawn a little bit of Fiala's sting, hasn't he? Just again, another one of those explosive bursts, but Niall's feet were out the way then, you know, he saw it coming, didn't he? And just gave himself some room. Just looks like he's figured it out now, because obviously, you know, unknown opponent coming over with 3 consecutive wins. You got to be careful. You got to have a look at him, haven't you? You can't make any rash mistakes. But it does look like Brown has just begun to work out what he's got in front of him now.
He still needs to stay very switched on from the first bell to the last. His opponent looks very dangerous, and like I said before, anything can happen in boxing.
Pat's not scared about putting you guys in, is he, Riz? You know, when you get to a certain level, Pat's going to match you properly against someone who's capable of beating you if you're not on your game.
Pat is made from a very old cloth of boxing. You know, the mentality is to be the best fighter possible, and that will always be kind of shown through his fighters that he's teaching, like Niall, myself, George later on tonight. No, he's not worried about throwing us in, because that's what it takes for us to get to where we want to get to, is to prove ourselves against these solid fighters, keep winning, keep improving, and eventually make a living out of this, because it's a very, very tough game.
Seconds out.
Emergency last little bit of a Vaseline application there from Kurt Aslan, jumping up onto the ring rope for Niall Brown, but back out into action round 3. There's that jab up and down you were talking about in the last round. He's just trying to set traps.
Exactly. It'd be nice to see him keep doing that, creating an opportunity, and maybe come back upstairs with a nice right hand. Niall does pack a nice punch in his right hand, I must say. So it would be nice to see that come off if he can create it. But it's difficult, like there. His opponent is very live.
Yeah, Fiala.
Very aggressive.
Just when it looked like Niall beginning to work it out in the second round, Fiala's come out with fire again, hasn't he?
That's it. He's got to get back on the jab now.
Big feint with that right hand, then Niall bit on it, didn't he?
He's got to be careful. Yes,
nice right hand
lovely.
of his own
Good,
from Niall.
good. But fell in a little bit there. Got caught up. Needs to maintain that distance for me. Give his opponent no opportunity to come back with anything, because he will.
Good character Niall as well, isn't he? A good guy. Takes himself out and about, doesn't he? Camping in the wilderness and gets up to all sorts of unusual stuff when he's not got a fight to train for. He's a good guy, isn't he? He's a good guy to have in the gym.
Yeah, I mean, the gym now is my family, so I can really talk about their personalities. I've been there long enough now to really connect with everybody, and we're not just fighters. We're people, you know. An hour before the show, I was drilling an Accrington brick in a new property that I'd bought. Niall, I know he's done little bits of properties here and there, and like you've mentioned, he's camping and stuff like that. You know, George, for you guys, we'll watch him fight in the main event later on. He's such a funny guy. He's got a great sense of humor. And but yeah, tonight it's all about action. It's all about putting it in the ring under the spotlight.
Yeah,
and this fight is great so far. I'm really enjoying
Fiala
it.
Making Brown work for this.
Yeah,
a little bit of marking around Niall's eye and just pushing Brown onto the back foot. It's a real good test of him at super middleweight as well. You know, I know he moved up a fight or two ago, but this guy, you know, he's a physical, strong super middleweight who's determined to push him back. And that's rather than setting the pace, Niall's having to. Oh, he's hurting with a right hand, Riz.
Yeah, that's it.
Fiala's hurt.
He needs to keep that distance now and create something. Don't let him tie up.
Yeah, he cleverly bought himself time, but he's still not there. And if Niall can just time this right.
That's exactly what I said. He's got a lovely backhand on him. But
brave Fiala,
a
though.
wounded dog is a dangerous one.
That was clever by Fiala. Rather than covering up, he got on the front foot and pushed Brown back.
Yeah, lunged right in. Closed that distance down. Held on for a couple seconds. Oh, and he's throwing bombs himself.
Nice uppercut from Brown.
Lovely. And a body shot to finish the round. Very nice.
Fiala's legs are still not underneath him, though, as he goes back to the corner. But he was gone, wasn't he, Riz? He was gone.
To be fair, I'd like to see a little. I'd like to see again a little rewind because I'm.
Ask our technical man if we've got a replay.
I'll have it. Can we see a little replay? There we go. Because I'm sure they both landed at the same time. It's just Niall's had a. Yes, they did. Both
yeah,
went.
They both exchanged right hands, but Niall's got there first.
Yeah, that's right. Niall's was a lot straighter down the pipe. His opponent throwing them big looping shots takes longer to deliver that punch to the target, and he ended up, as a consequence of that, walking onto one himself.
10 seconds, corners.
Good fight, this. But Fiala didn't go into his shell, did he? Fiala fired straight back.
Seconds out. Round 4.
We said it would be good, and so far so good. Not disappointing.
It's like I said before, I think Fiala will be dangerous from the first bell to the last, so I'd like to see Niall stay focused, work behind that jab, keep creating opportunities like the little paintbrush going up and down, and something will present itself, like that backhand did at the end of the last round. That clearly staggered his opponent.
Yeah, 6 rounds this tonight for people asking him a chat, and let's just see if Fiala's legs are back underneath him. So far he looks quite good, doesn't he? He looks, but the right
lovely
uppercut. I don't think it quite landed flush, because otherwise I think we'd be hearing a count at the moment, but it definitely just clipped Fiala.
What I liked in that sequence, though, is that Niall landed that uppercut and then evaded 3 or 4 punches. So he's not getting carried away with the shots he's throwing. He's not overcommitting. Lovely body shots. You can see the elbows have come down. It's like we said earlier, those body shots stay with you.
Fiala was hurt by that. His right elbow's clamped to his side now.
Exactly.
Niall's going to be looking for that exact same spot.
Go downstairs, Niall. That's it. I'm getting up.
It doesn't like the body shots, Fiala. Definitely feeling. I think that's Brown's realised his route to victory here. On the back foot for the first real time, Fiala. But Niall's just got to create the opening to land it.
That's right. He just needs to find the shots around his elbows, because he is tucking them very well. But this is a perfect example. You know, Fiala was out of his feet for a few seconds last round from a headshot, but he's recovered fully from that. The body shots that Niall is landing in this round are going to have a much greater effect down the line if he carries on.
Nice little shot left up there from Fiala, though. Where's that? I think Brown took most of it on the glove, but some of it got through.
It's like I said, this guy's going to be dangerous from the first bell to the last. You can see by his physique, he packs a punch, and you can see that in his style. He tucks up. Come
right
on,
hand
Niall.
Hurt Fiala high on the head, and then the second right hand put him over.
6.
I don't think he recovered from the shot in the previous round.
No, and then body shots are
The
sinking
body
his
shots
hands
are
down
weakened
lower
in,
and lower.
The guard came down, and Brown found the punches upstairs. Oh, a beautiful short right hand as well from Brown.
The same thing as in the last round. They both throw, and Niall comes out on top in the exchange.
Fiala's a brave opponent, though, and he's not covering up. He's coming out swinging.
Oh, he's a true fighter. You can tell in his style.
The mouthpiece has come out, but
it's over.
He's
And it's
jumped in to
over.
stop it.
Yeah,
his
he
legs
just
aren't underneath him. Whereas I know there wasn't a clean shot to finish it, but I don't think he fully recovered, did he?
No, but you can see He took a second to spit his gum shield out and buy himself a little bit of time, hoping that the referee would pick up the gum shield, stop the action, and give him a few extra seconds to recover. He didn't. Niall stepped up the pace, got the finish. I'm very proud of that. Very good performance.
A good performance. It was a live opponent who came to win, who's got power and coming on the back of consecutive knockout wins. Niall dealt with that, figured him out, and took him out, and that's all you can ask for, isn't it?
I think that's the danger of fighting opponents like this. They usually win by knockout or lose by knockout. Obviously, the guy's coming off 3 consecutive knockout wins, but with his style and his physique, it's kind of a double-edged sword. He's attacking very, very dangerously, but he's also open to walking onto shots himself. And you could see twice in that fight, they both exchanged right hands. But Niall's right hand was just the crisper of the two, landing and having the greater of the effect.
There we go, we'll go up to a ring, we'll get the official time and announcement from Aki Kareem. But very, very good win for Niall Brown.
Ladies and gentlemen, your referee John Latham calls this contest off official time. 2 minutes and 52 seconds of round number 4. Therefore, your winner by TKO from Stockport, Niall Brown.
I have to apologise to everybody watching. I'm getting a little bit too excited watching these lads because the fights are really, really heating up. That was for me the fight of the night so far. And
fight of the night and performance of the night.
Yes, definitely, definitely. And what a lovely cherry on top of the cake to secure that as well with the TKO.
Yeah, really good for Niall Brown. Up at a new weight, nice and comfortable. Gets a stoppage win. He'll be hoping to get back on the Channel 5 shows. Be hoping to give him a bit of a showcase fight now. He's more than ready, isn't he? You know, 14-0. He's been at this for a long time now. Niall Brown's ready for a step up.
Yeah, and Niall is very consistent. He's always in the gym. It's just now, as a spectator for the first time, it's lovely to see that effort is paying off. Because he'll be buzzing when he goes home tonight. He'll be absolutely buzzing.
Yeah, he's not just beaten he's not just stopped a journeyman who gets stopped fairly regularly there. He stopped a live opponent who came to win. So that means more, doesn't it? That Niall will know exactly what he's done there.
Yeah, he's going to really enjoy this, and it sets him up for bigger and greater things in terms of maybe titles or big opportunities. He's obviously performed a few times on TV, and it will be great for him to carry that on. But what I'm really liking about tonight in particular for him, not even counting the fact that the fight has gone the way it has, and it was a very exciting, thrilling one where he could show the things he's working on, and he's got the knockout, but he's staying active. That's the main thing, because it would be so easy for him to sit around and be like, no, I'm just going to sit around, wait for a television opportunity where I maybe get a little bit more money or something. No, he's coming here on Black Flash Promotions and putting in the fight of the night so far.
Our resident Colliers, the Moston expert, Milan Fearon. What did you think of Niall's performance there, Milan?
Great performance, really good to see. Niall's always good to watch. He really, really is. But that was a special performance. And you know what? There were some points in the fight where it did get a little bit tough. But you know what? He just stayed with it, done what he does, and got the result that he come for. So I'm more than happy with that.
You've seen Niall in the gym, don't you? You've seen him around.
Yeah, I've seen him around.
Can you tell the people what type of character he is? Because we like to show the people behind the curtain here at Black Flash. We like to introduce them to the fighters, don't we?
Yeah, we do. He's a chilled guy. He's very, very chilled, just like Lyndon. Chilled guy, likes a bit of a joke, likes a quiet life. Like you mentioned earlier on, you know, he goes out camping in his spare time.
Are you the type to take a tent out into the wilderness at weekends, Milan?
I'd give it a go. I'd give it a go. I don't think it's something that I'd stick to. I don't think it's something that I'd stick to, but I'd give it a go.
Now, stick with us. We've got George Clean. He's topping the bill. Just 5 minutes from his home, isn't it, this? Middleton Arena. I know they want to try and build George's fan base up.
And he's fighting Jordan Granom. We're no stranger to Jordan Granom on the Black Flash show, are we, John?
time and time again we see Jordan Granom on these shows. Nice guy, Jordan, knows his role. And yeah, George will be looking to keep his unbeaten run going. Just looking, I just thought I could see May Eastbury there, who made a professional debut. I was going to try and get her up for a quick chat, but it looks like she's escaped.
ladies and gentlemen, before I introduce our final contest, let me please give a big shout out to our sponsors this evening: Surrey Steel, Ticket Sphere, RDX, Manchester Joinery, Cooney Installation, and Welcome Estates. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our main event of the evening. 6 3-minute rounds sanctioned in the super welterweight division. So please welcome to the ring first, coming to us from London, it's the Brown Eagle, Jordan Granom. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent, coming to us from right here in Manchester, George Killer Killing. Ladies and gentlemen, Manchester Mayhem is brought to you by Pat Barrett of Black Flash Promotions, and this is our main event of the evening. 6 3-minute rounds sanctioned in the super welterweight division. Your officials for the contest: timekeeper Anthony Rushton, and your referee in charge of the action will be A-star referee Darren Sargentson. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our boxers are ready for action, and our viewers live on Black Flash Promotions are ready for action. Let me ask you, Middleton, are you ready for action? Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the red shorts and weighing in at 158 pounds even. A veteran of the ring with 170 professional bouts to his name. He goes by the name of the Brown Eagle. He comes to us from London, Jordan Granom. And his opponent across the ring, fight out of the red corner, wearing the black shorts, and he weighed in at 156 pounds even. He comes to the ring with a professional record, which is a perfect one. 9 wins, no losses, and 2 of those wins coming by way of knockout. And he is the fighting pride of Manchester, George Killer Killing!
Come on, gorgeous
Fellas,
George,
both
let's
know the
go.
rules, keep it clean. Nothing low, watch your heads, and when I say break, take a step back. Most importantly, defend yourself at all times.
Main event time here at Middleton Arena on this Black Flash Promotions show. George Killer Killing against Jordan Granom.
Well, I've seen Jordan a lot of times in the past, and he's a very clever fighter. It'll be very interesting to see if George can do something similar to what Niall did and create and find opportunities, even if they're not handed out to him.
Yeah, we said it time and time again, Jordan's a good, talented fighter. He chooses to be in the away corner.
Lovely jab there, sorry.
Fighting these young kids. That's his career decision. If he'd been in my home corner, Jordan would have had an entirely different record and might well have picked up a belt or 2. But he knows exactly what he's doing and gives everyone a test. And George at 9-0 now. This is his 10th professional fight. He's been nice and busy. He should be getting past Jordan, but if he's not on his game, Jordan will beat him, Riz. It's that kind of fight.
Jordan is, like I said earlier, is a very intelligent fighter, and finding opportunities to hit him clean don't come often. What I like about George is he started off with a very positive, strong jab, and having sparred him multiple times in the past, I can tell you that's like a horse's kick. His jab is absolutely lovely.
Yeah, it's his major weapon, clean, isn't it? It's just a nice, tidy boxer, keep things long, pops that jab out and looks to put things behind it, but that's his bread and butter, isn't it? That jab. He's just trying to establish it and get it working now.
It's a very positive start from him. He's on his front foot. He's defensively sound so far. Let's not jinx it. And he's working behind his jab, which I really like. Already mixing it up a little bit, going downstairs and up.
I was looking through your record. I was surprised you've not boxed Jordan Granom.
I was meant to box him at one point, and to be honest, Jordan now is stepping up in weight a little bit. I think he's growing. Obviously, as you get a little bit older, your metabolic rate slows down a little bit. He is growing in weight, and at the time we were bound to fight, but I was just a little bit too heavy for him, I think.
Yeah, George got everything under control there so far. Centre of the ring, jab's working nice. He's got that range, and the key to fighting someone like Jordan is not to give him any confidence. Don't let him get a foothold. And George hasn't. He stamped his authority on it straight away.
Jordan's is a veteran of many fights. How many did they say?
160 plus.
Right, yeah. And I've only ever seen him hurt with solid, well-placed body shots. You know, his defense is very good, and it will take something special if George is to get him out, but he's boxing very positively so far, and I'm liking what I'm seeing. But that jab is working very well for George, and he's switching it up and down. I like what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I think the only time I must have seen Jordan box live too many times to mention, over 50 probably. And the only time we've ever seen him get stopped was Niall Brown, who we've just saw. Niall hurt him and busted up his eye really badly at Salford Rugby Club. One of Niall's best early performances. But that's it, he's as tough as they come, Jordan. But George, yeah, nice, quick, positive start. And first round in the bank. What do you think Pat will be saying to him, Riz?
Knowing Pat, he will not give you kind of praise for what you're doing well. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but he's going to be focusing on George's mistakes. He'll want him to work behind that jab, not overcommit, and create opportunities. Maybe add a few feints in, which I've not really seen in the first round as much as I would like to. A few little feints, and that concept I mentioned earlier about the paintbrush is switching that jab up and down, going to the body, going to the head, and creating opportunities to work from.
Yeah, people think the jab is just, they have an image in their head of a jab to the head, don't they? But the jab to the body is a killer weapon.
Yeah, of course. And like I said, George's jab it's a dangerous weapon. It's not one he's just flicking out to gain a little bit of distance. He means harm with that jab, and it's one of the greatest weapons in boxing, but it's so deceptive because you think it's just a jab. Every fighter throws it, but if you're not switched on, he will hurt Jordan Granom with that jab. And what I'm liking at the moment is he's still switched on defensively no matter what he's kind of producing in his attacks. There's not much that's getting through. Like there, lovely little step back, double jab. Walked into jab there. See, Black Flash today is the place to be, especially under the guidance of Pat. You can see his fighters just have a little bit of a spark behind them. They've got a little zap in their punches, and like Niall performed the fight of the night so far, this fight is heating up very well as well, and George is performing very well so far.
Very dedicated guy, George, isn't he? Lives for boxing. I know he's got a little gym at home. A little gym at home that he spends his spare time in. I think there's PTs for other people as well, and that's on top of a training at home. You know, he lives for it, doesn't he?
Me, Niall and George are in the gym so much that if one of us don't turn up one day because we're ill or something, it's a weird thing because we're always there. It's just part of our routine. It's like brushing your teeth in the morning. It just happens. And yeah, the two lads on tonight, both George and Niall, super dedicated to their craft. And you can see that in the performances tonight. Very exciting stuff.
Little double jab there from George. Jordan just can't get anything going. He's trying to get his own jab working, but just falling short a lot, and that's pretty much the extent of what Jordan's willing to try here.
But for me, he's falling short because George is taking little step backs to little pushes away to make him miss, and that just shows the improvements that George has made, because he's attacking and he's still being able to perform defensively, having those little well-timed step backs to make his opponent miss, and then oftentimes come back with a jab just like that. Lovely thing, just coming straight down the pipe.
Getting some decent sparring in George as well, hasn't he? I know he's got obviously you and Niall in the gym, but I saw him sparring Jack Rafferty at the start of the year when Jack was getting ready for his British title fight. So he's starting to mix in with some good people as well.
Yeah, and like I said previously, George is only a young fighter and he's still learning and absorbing all the information. He's like a dry sponge. He's just absorbing all that's been said to him and all that's been taught. You can see there, Pat is now, well, I'm only guessing because I can't hear them, but it's looking like he wants him to create a left hook off his jab, to create a little bit of an angle and create something different.
Not many better teachers of a left hook in world boxing, is there, than Pat Barrett?
Do you know, for me, you can be a boxing coach, and like I said, I've been in boxing, competing now for 18 years coming up, so I can't say I've seen it all, but I've seen a lot of coaches, a lot of different perspectives and points of view. What I like about Pat is he's not just a coach, he's a teacher. He makes sure he's not just showing you a technique, he's telling you why, and oftentimes he'll teach you so much. It's beyond boxing, it's about life and all those things as well, and there's no better expression than just he is a real teacher for us as fighters. He guides our careers, he looks after us, and we win together, we lose together, and that investment is, we're a unity, we're a team. And tonight I've got a strong feeling Pat is going to be driving home very happy because the lads are performing. I'm just gutted I'm not in that, creating a trio there. So yeah, lovely shots there, good. Working on the range, on the end of his range, good shots. Looking for little bits of angles there as well. Nice, looking for the uppercut, just missed it though.
Yeah, he's just trying to look for other things off that jab now, isn't he? You know, he's got that jab working, he's got his distance, got his range, and now he can start adding other things onto the back of that, can't he, Riz?
I think in this fight tonight though, George working at the end of his range and creating things off there will be his best play. He's defensively sound, he's not walking onto any looping shots thrown back his way. And there, just like there, keeping him on the ropes, and he's a fit lad. He can do that the whole round, so he shouldn't let him off the hook. He should just keep him there. Little step back and back into it. Very nice reset there. But I must say, Jordan Granom's impressing me as well defensively. There's a lot of leather thrown his way tonight, and he's defending very well so far. There's not many getting through clean.
Yeah, that's how come he's managed to last through 170 fights almost. He doesn't take many clean shots. You know, very good defence. I'm sure he was like a champion in London, a Southern Area champion as an amateur. Very talented, and if he turned over with a different promoter, who knows, things could have been completely different. But as it is, he probably makes a very good living from being on the road.
It's very difficult for people watching that out, maybe not completely in boxing where they understand the ins and outs of the game, but every journeyman out there is just a prospect who maybe didn't quite have something to succeed, and oftentimes that's not based on their quality of boxing. Sometimes that is just purely putting bums on seats and not being able to sell enough tickets. Because you see a lot of these journeymen, exactly like Jordan Granom here. He's a quality fighter. He's got very good skill, and if you're not on your game, he will beat you. It's just that simple.
Yeah, people who watch boxing and they see these guys with 80 losses on their record, they just think they're no good. They should try actually getting in the ring and doing 3 rounds with them. And suddenly they may get their eyes opened. It's not quite what you expect.
Yeah, exactly that. And one thing I am happy to say is George is very much on his game tonight. So the boxing gods have not let me curse the performances through my commentary. Let's just hope, because the fight's not over yet, so he still has to get the job done. But what a main event this is as well.
Yeah, it'd be good to start keeping George here in Middleton more often, more regularly. Let's get this fan base built up now. You know, he's been nice and busy and he takes a few people to bowlers, but it's obviously much easier if he only have to come a few minutes down the road. So it'd be good if like George turned this into something of a home for him for the next year, to really try and get it full up and make George clean nights.
Yeah,
you know, not
yeah.
just the Black Flash promotion show. People come to watch George fight, and that's where you get your opportunities then.
And as a venue, I'm loving this place because of the way the seating is designed. Most of the fans watching tonight here in person will feel like they're somewhat inside the ring. The perspective we have is absolutely amazing. You can see every punch, you can see every drop of sweat, especially there when that jab landed. Very good shots.
Yeah, good work from George Colleen again. Nothing too spectacular, but keeping it nice and simple, but the simple stuff's working.
No, but with certain fighters, it's hard to get that spectacular knockout to create something super exciting. But what he's doing as an alternative is having every foundation absolutely solid. And for the boxing fans that really know their game, they're going to enjoy this performance because it's technically very sound. But I'm not going to lie, as a fan, I would like to see some bombs landed.
Yeah, I'd like to see Jordan dig his toes into the canvas and let something go in return, wouldn't we? But Jordan's not going to take the risk. He's got another fight booked in, and that's just not how he goes about his business.
Well, you say that, he's just having a little go there.
Went for an uppercut, didn't he?
But similarly to how Niall switched it in the last fight, where he had his opponent hurt to the head, then decided to go downstairs, hurt him to the body, drop the elbows, finish off the job upstairs. I'd like to see George do a little bit of that, because even though he's boxing beautifully, he's not hurting his opponent to the head. A few shots round the body, round the elbows, might just drop the hands and make his headshots a little bit more effective. But that jab is lovely, it's crisp, it's quick.
Pat will have you drilling the same punch over and over and over again, won't he, until you get it right as well in that gym.
When I say thousands of times, I mean thousands of times. Yes, we work on that stuff religiously. George does have a little tendency sometimes in his spars and in the gym to just be a little bit too stiff, a little bit too invested, which tonight he's actually doing the complete opposite. You can see he's very nice and relaxed, he's boxing very well. And obviously watching him in the gym day in, day out, this is a very pleasant thing for me to see. It's a clear improvement. Oh, lovely swing and a miss, and then coming back with the jab to counter. And now George is trying out a few different angles. Nice long uppercut. Just grazed his opponent.
Another round in the event for George Clean. Halfway through this 6th rounder now, and everything going his way. Thanks for watching tonight. Just had good numbers on the live stream all night. Up around 300 of you watching all the time. Yeah, just lots of No real questions to read out on the chat, just lots of good luck George messages. He generally gets the most attention. I know he's got some fans over there in Ireland who always tune in to watch. Always likes us to give a shout out to those, so hope you're enjoying it.
He doesn't particularly approve, but we do call him Gorgeous George in the gym.
Gorgeous George.
He's a good looking lad.
We had a debate whether we should be called Gorgeous George or Killer Kalina. I was in the Gorgeous George camp.
Me too. It's funny because it reflects his, well, to me anyway, because I know him a little bit more deeper than the standard fan does. I know his humour, and Gorgeous George just highlights that for me so well.
Plus as well, there used to be a famous wrestler called Gorgeous George, and George could have worn a particular robe into the ring if he'd...
Yeah, I don't think the hair matches, if I'm honest.
People listening to the commentary there can't quite... Google Gorgeous George and you'll see what we're talking about. But anyway, back to the fight in the ring, and nice little uppercut there from Colleen, as well as a few jabs, and just straight back to doing what's worked so well for him all night.
I think Jordan's kind of switched it up for me here, because we've gone past the midpoint of the fight. It seems like he's changed his tactics a little bit, maybe trying to tire George out a little bit by stepping forward. And at the moment, George is maintaining a fantastic pace, and it will be great to see whether he can keep that going in the next 2 rounds after.
Yeah, just got a little bounce in his step, Jordan, hasn't he? Just moving that head, stepping forward. Just trying to keep George working, as you said, and maybe drain that tank, maybe. But George has, in his career so far, he's shown no signs of stamina being a problem. You know, he's cruised through every fight he's had so far.
For me, when George has fun, he boxes the best. When he's nice and loose and he's dancing around and he's elusive, but also throwing that dangerous jab that he's got, that's when he's kind of the best for me. And he's loose tonight. I like that. It's very good to see. Lovely 2 shots and a little bit of footwork. But Jordan Granom is turning up the heat here. He's definitely trying to drain the tank that George has. Lovely double backhand there from George.
Yeah, he's up the tempo, Jordan, with his feet and with his head movement, but he still can't land much. He's not having much success, is he? You know, he has tried to up the tempo, but
no. But
George's defences are good tonight.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. But sometimes the presence of Jordan Granom, just by walking forward and absorbing the shots that George is throwing, Jordan can kind of try and take that zap away from George and make him tired. And it'll be interesting because George has displayed a very good intensity there in that round, and if he could maintain that, that will be very impressive, because he'll be able to show that he can stick to a game plan despite of what his opponent is doing in his adaptations.
Here we go, 6th and final round. Good performance this from George Clean so far. Everything in hand, nice and relaxed. Popped out that jab all night. Not tired as Jordan Granom's tried to up the tempo and push him back. Everything's gone George's way tonight, but that's all down to his own hard work. So he'll just be looking to see out this last couple of minutes.
I think I must have lost count. I thought we were going into round 5, so it just shows you how exciting this is for me. And I hope everybody watching feels the same way. Time is flying by when you're having fun, and Right now, George is looking at the top of his game, top of the world. Great defense there as Jordan Granom tries to put George on the ropes and fire a few shots away. To anybody watching on TV or on your phones or on your tablets or wherever you're watching this, the shots thrown and landed between the two in the ring, you can hear the thud of each punch. So I'm not sure what it looks like on the YouTube channel, but these are some powerful shots thrown by two men. Oh, like that there, very strong punches.
Yeah, nice.
thrown.
Jordan's just closed the distance up. He's putting a final effort here, isn't he, for the first half of his final round. Dug a nice body shot in and nice right hand.
I'd have to see a replay, but I do think that body shot got through. Just found a little gap, but it's not deterred George at all. He's got a very good poker face on him. He's not shown any pain. He's still boxing very well. Lovely swing and a miss there.
Ooh, nice right hand from Jordan. He's just determined to just show the younger kid that he's definitely got something. You know, you can't have it all your own way. But yeah, body shot landed, right hands landed.
Yeah, it's a very good test for George, and we always knew that would be the case. But like you said earlier, Pat throws us in with good fighters because that's what it takes for us to become better. And George, being only 21, hopefully be 10-0 after tonight, though I don't see why any other verdict than a complete shutout would be the case. But it's not been an easy fight. It's been a fight where he's been tested. His opponent has done things, adapted during the fight, and has forced George to really test whether or not he can stick to his game plan. Lovely swing and a miss there, rolling under the punch of Jordan Granom.
There we go,
And
final
that's
10
it.
seconds.
Wow, what a fight. What a great
good,
main
good
event.
last round there from Jordan Granom, really giving George something to think about, teaching him plenty there, even though George had his way for most of the first 5 rounds.
For everybody watching, let's make the Middleton Arena George's Arena. Come on, everybody, put your hands together wherever you are. Respect the main event. What a great fight.
We'll get our MC, get the official announcement, then we'll have a quick rundown of the show, and thanks for joining us. Flown by tonight. Our MC, Aki Kareem, is up there, just getting the scorecard from Darren Sargentson. Maybe give Jordan a share of the last round. Maybe give a share of the last round, but we're about to get official confirmation.
After 6 rounds of boxing, we go to Darren Sargentson's scorecard, which reads 60 points to 54 points in favour of your winner from Manchester.
There we go, 60-54. George Gleam remains unbeaten, 10-0. Just before we finish off with Milan's thoughts, have you enjoyed it, Riz? Quick summary.
What a fantastic night, and I want to apologise to people watching on YouTube because they'll have experienced the amazing fights inside the ring, but they're just missing out on the atmosphere here. The place is absolutely packed out. People have really come to show the love for these fighters, and that makes me really happy as a fan for once to be able to sit down and absorb it from start to finish. It's been a great night.
It has. And Milan, we'll finish off with you. A good night for Colliers and Moston. A good night for Black Flash Promotions, back where it all started. You enjoyed it?
Yeah, really enjoyed it. It's been a great night. It just feel like it progressed as the night went on. It really, really did. And just like what Riz was just saying as well, the atmosphere tonight here has been great.
What did you think of George tonight?
Well, better performance. I mean, we've seen George have, a good few fights, but tonight I've seen a different side. I mean, his movement, it's a lot more slicker, a lot more loose. It's progressing each time, but this progression tonight that I've seen, incredible.
There's only one performance of the night, though, and the star of the night.
See ya. Cheers. See ya.
I'm going to have to go with Niall. I'm going to have to go in. George, brilliant performance, but, you know, Niall, the other guy in the ring, had a lot more to lose than George's opponent. No knock-on effect to like what George has done, but there was a lot more to lose in that fight. The tension was there, and the stakes was higher. So yeah, I'm going to go with Niall on that one.
Yeah, I agree with you 1,000,000%. I think you're dead right, Milan. So thanks for joining us. We've had good people on the stream all night. Good viewing numbers. Hope you enjoyed it. Flew by tonight, and we'll see you on the next Black Flash promotion show.